Hi guys, Aka here. It's comparison time. And oh boy, do we have a big one today. We've got Ragnar and Sigurd, two of the baddest Vikings to roll up on the streets of Evony. These guys are baddest of the bad. And I'ma tell you, Merlin and Marcus are not too happy to see these guys roll up on their streets. And you know what? There's actually a perfect song for this. Sing it with me now. They see me rolling, they hating. Really? Nobody knows that song? Wow, okay, that's one joke dead. Anyway, so we have Ragnar and Sigurd. We're gonna go through their stats and see what they can do. But because Ragnar is the general that is available in the general summoning, while Sigurd is in the special event, making him much harder to get. So we're going to focus the bulk of our attention on Ragnar. Okay, let's go in and let's see what he can do. So we have Ragnar here, and I'll tell you straight off the bat, if you look at his base stats, he has amongst the highest base stats in the game. In fact, I'm willing to say that his attack stats are the highest base stats in the game. They're higher than Merlin's. So let's keep that in mind. Okay, now if we look at his main skill, it says range attack and defense 45% when general is leading the army to attack, and range HP 35% when general brings a dragon or a spirit beast. So in total, for his main skill, he gets 45% attack, 45% defense, and 35% HP. Okay, now if we go to his specialties and we put all of them together, Ragnar comes out with 75% attack, 45% defense, and 35% HP. Okay, that's cool. Now, if we look at his ascension, when you put all of his ascension together, Ragnar gets 60% attack, 40% defense, and 40% HP. Alrighty. Now, if you put all of his stats together, Ragnar comes out with a total of 180% attack, 130% defense, and 110% HP. Those are big stats. Okay? Those are riding dirty stats. Now, for anyone that is interested in knowing, here are Sigurd's stats fully maxed out. He's not quite as good as Ragnar, but he's still pretty decent. Unfortunately though, maxing Sigurd out will be extremely tough. And by extremely tough, I mean extremely expensive. If you're lucky enough to get one copy of the guy, then that's cool. I've not been lucky, and I've exhausted all my free chances without getting Sigurd. And from what people are telling me, it's costing round about $300 to $400 to get one copy of this guy. So maxing him out will be extremely difficult. With that said, Ragnar is comparatively easy to get. I have one copy of him already, and in the general summoning, I'm sure a lot of people will be able to get tons of copies of him. So he's the main guy to go with. Okay, now let's compare him to the other top generals that we have in the game. And as you can see here, Ragnar is leading the pack. He's got the highest range attack of all the generals that we're looking at. Range defense, okay, not quite so much. Range HP, he's doing fairly okay. So this guy is very good compared to the competition. Again, remember that his base stats are the highest in the game. So the attack advantage that he has is going to increase even further when you level up the general. Now, of course, everything is not just about stats, okay? We need to look at march size. So right here, we have the march sizes for the generals that we are looking at. And as you can see, Ragnar is leading this one. So based on the stats, based on the march size, I think it's safe to say that Ragnar just rolled in dirty and took the #1 range general spot in the game. All right, but the story doesn't end there, because we need to look at his covenant. So, here we have Ragnar's covenant. And at a first glance, the covenant looks pretty okay. Looks decent enough. In fact, when you compare his covenant stats with Merlin's covenant stats, you can see them here. Overall, Ragnar, I would say, has the better stats. That's my assessment of it. But that is not to say that his covenant does not have certain issues with it. The main issue that his covenant has is the generals that he needs. So, here are the generals required for his covenant. And right away, you can see the problem. Harold is probably not an issue. A lot of people can get Harold easily enough from the tavern, if you don't have Harold already. The main problem, you need Sigurd for his covenant. And the way things are going, you probably need a credit check just to be able to get Sigurd. That's one issue. The second issue is Knut the Great. While Knut is a general that has been in Evony for a while, he is a difficult general to get. A lot of people don't have him. I don't have him. So if you don't have Knut and you don't have Sigurd, completing the covenant for Ragnar is gonna be a very tough thing to do. Now, with that being said though, even if you can't do the covenant for Ragnar, as you can see the stats here, you're not giving up all that much. And he's still gonna be an excellent general. So, yeah, this might actually be one of the newer generals that you might want to just skip the covenant entirely. Anyway, that's his covenant. Now, let's look at his compatibility in general. First, we're going to look at his compatibility with skill books. So, we have my Ragnar here. And if we come into the skill books, we check the range attack. He can take it. That's good. Let's scroll down. Range defense. There it is. Yes, he can take that as well. Range HP. That's good. And just for good measure, march size. We check that. He's all good. He can take all the necessary books for a range general. That's fine. Now, let's come over here and take a look at his compatibility with some of the generals that we have. So, we have Ragnar on here. And the first general that we're going to look at is Merlin. And as we can see, Ragnar and Merlin are compatible. So, that's cool. Okay, the next general that we want to check, Marcus. And as we can see here again, Marcus and Ragnar are compatible. So this is looking very good for Ragnar. He's already compatible with two of the strongest generals in the game. Right, now let's check some other options. As we can see here, Ragnar is compatible with Charles, which is great. He's also compatible with Douglas. That's very nice. However, he is not compatible with Eleanor, which is a bit unfortunate, but that's how it goes. Now, aside from these, Ragnar is compatible with Subutai. He's also compatible with Godfrey, which is good. It's looking like Ragnar is compatible with the majority of range generals that are available. In fact, he's also compatible with James Conrad. I wonder how many of you actually remember that Conrad is in this game. Anyway, yes, he's compatible with him as well. So, that's a lot of options available to Ragnar. Of course, we haven't covered all the generals available, so if you know of some key combinations that are actually very good for Ragnar, please feel free to drop them down in the comments. Okay, now with compatibility done, let's go ahead and take a look at how Ragnar and Sigurd perform as assistant generals. So, right here, we have the stats for some of the main assistant generals in the game. And as you can see, Ragnar is doing very good on the stats. Sigurd is also doing very good as well. And when you compare them to generals like Merlin and Marcus, even with the stat advantage that they have a slight advantage with the march size as well. Of course, remember, this is when you're using them as assistants. And an important point to note, Sigurd's march size, when using him as an assistant, is only available in his covenant. Now, his covenant is considerably easier than Ragnar's, I would say, because you need to get Ragnar, who is easier to get, Barbarian King, a lot of people have that, and Harald III. He might be the tricky one to get, but yeah, I'm sure some people would have a copy of him or two. So, Sigurd's covenant, considerably easier. Now, with that being said, even though, from what we're seeing here, Ragnar has the better stats than Sigurd, it's important to note that a lot of the stats that he has there are attacking stats, while Sigurd's are mostly vanilla stats. So, Sigurd's stats will be more applicable in more situations than Ragnar's. And as you can see, there's not that much difference between them, and you could very well argue that Sigurd will be the better assistant when you compare the difference in their attack with the difference in their HP and the march size as well. So, the verdict on Ragnar is very simple. He's number one. And if you want number one, you can get number one. Sigurd is also a very good general. He's particularly geared for being an assistant. And in my opinion, he's number one for assistants. So, let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you're looking for comparisons for range generals that are much more friendly for free-to-play and lower coiners, then you can check out this video here, which compares some of the free-to-play options that are available. That's it for me, guys. Thank you very much. Aka signing out.